Yes, sir. Grand Rising, good people. Shout out to Lucille already in the building. Lana in the building. Grand Rising, Grand Rising. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. It's already a great day. I done got my running in. As you're joining, first and foremost, thank you for being here. Second off, share with a friend maybe. Or at least like for the algorithm. That's going to definitely help get more people in here. Apparently they not feeling the lives with all this stuff going on. They trying to diss the lives. It's all good. We still gonna make it happen. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Urs, my brother, is in the building. This is the week. This is the week. This is the week. This is the day. This is the moment. This is the opportunity. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? That thing that you've been waiting for. That thing that you've been waiting for. That opportunity that you've been waiting for. That opportunity that's been there that you thought that you were waiting for. That all you had to do was just act on it, move forward, and then things would do what? They would properly align, all right? That's why the bottom of the screen says purposeful alignment. All right, we are controlling what we bring into our lives simply by controlling what we put out. Speaking of that, yo, let's get rid of, let's start the week off. Let's start the week off with some good energy. Cheers to the gods and goddesses. We want to be in good favor, So we're getting rid of anything negative that we may have had happen last week. Or anything that we may have perceived as negative, whatever it may be, we're flushing it. All right, we're flushing a negative mindset. We're flushing victimhood. We're flushing complacency. Anything that doesn't allow us to live in our purposeful abundance and become the best versions of ourselves, we are getting rid of. And I was going to wait for a couple people to join in, but it's my pop's birthday today. We got two things we celebrating. First and foremost, since Urs and Lana are here, happy anniversary. Happy anniversary to Urs and Lana. And happy birthday to my dad, the big homie. Happy birthday to my dad. Man, gotta embrace that. All right, let's clear out any, and it doesn't have to be clearing out negative energy, so to say. Just anything that we may not want to carry into this week. All right, so, oh no. Earth's gonna be mad at me. I just got this on the keyboard. Oh, I'm tripping. And this is a new keyboard. New keyboard, still acting up, Earth. It's doing the same thing the other one did. It may just be this old computer that I got. It is what it is. Yeah, definitely got to shout y'all out on y'all anniversary, man. That's amazing. That's what we all strive for. Well, I hope we're all striving for it in whatever way, striving to have that companion to take a journey through life with. I think that the entire world's better off when we could see somebody, when we have somebody else that we just appreciate. We're not in it just for ourselves, when there's a purpose that goes above and beyond us as individuals, but it's our connection with another individual. And it may be many individuals, with our family and all those things. But when we can lock in with somebody, that just represents a lot. We see it in nature. I feel like I just saw the lions and the lioness laid up, loving each other, man. You gotta love that. That's gotta be the goal. What we drinking today? We drinking tea or coffee? I'm on this tea today. I don't know why I switched it up. This thing been hot for like 5 minutes. All right. Can I get it closer? I need it closer. All right, so let's get into it. So what do we have today? I appreciate y'all for the birthday wishes for Pops. And an exciting week, man. It's an exciting week. I can't even tell y'all. Let me just talk for a little bit. Let me sit back and talk for a little bit. Alignment is real. Alignment is real. And what else is real? How can I put this? Knowing, I like to say knowing over believing, but just, I don't know what it is. Like I told you, I'm reading this book, Letting Go. And I'm also reading, I just started reading the first Ethiopian Bible. So I'm going back and forth on that. And I'm not expecting to, pick this up and then pick the other book up and then speaking about the exact same things. But when I tell you that every single self-help book, I'm assuming that the Bible is one of the ultimate self-help books. I'm assuming that y'all look at it like that as well. But all of these self-help books, they all focus on the same things, the very same principles, and they're all empowering in the same way. They all let us know that we bring into our lives any and everything based on how we think. How we think. And this is the power of the universe. This is the power of the universe. When they say, I forget, what is it? Newton's law of energy. And one of the smart guys, their law of energy cannot be like lost. It can only be transferred from one object to another. Everything that we put out, everything that we think about, everything that consumes us, everything that we visualize, it comes to fruition in different ways. Sometimes it comes to fruition in opportunity. Sometimes it just comes to fruition exactly how we envisioned it. Sometimes it comes to fruition based on the people that the universe will place in our lives, the timing of certain situations. And a lot of times it's just us making decisions. It's us making a decision. I'm going to do this. I don't know how this is going to work. I don't know all that. I haven't figured it out, but this is what we're doing. This is the direction that we're moving. We're not going to wait until things are quote unquote perfect. We are going to make a decision, prepare as best we can, and move forward. And when that happens, and it goes beyond belief. It has to go beyond belief. It just, this is my purpose. This is what I'm passionate about. This is how I'm going to impact the world. When you know it, there's nothing that can compete with that. There is absolutely nothing that can compete with that. And we're going through this. I don't know. I wouldn't call it an awakening process. Just personal and some of the people, some of the partners that we have, some of the people that are here right now. We're just going through this journey. And I really feel like it's just the beginning as far as this journey that we're going through. And it's proving a lot of the things that we already know to be true, but a lot of times we don't embrace it. Or let me rephrase that. Every single book that we read, the Bible, all these different things, they say all these things, but a lot of times we don't really embrace it. And we can't believe it until we actually see it come to fruition in our own lives. And that's the space that I'm in right now. That's the space that I'm in right now. That's the space that I really feel like everybody around me is in right now. And I feel like I just know that this time and the alignment is just there. And when you are very intentional about where you're going and you're purposeful and you're passionate about it, that means it's always on your mind. You're always thinking about it. You're only going to attract the things that allow you to execute on whatever that goal is. So that's my rant. It is what it is. I did want to get into a reading. I wanted to get into a reading from Letting Go that we were supposed to touch on last week. I'm not sure if I'm going to get into the reading. Should I get into the reading? I kind of wanted to end with the reading. Matter of fact, we're going to try this. We're going to do both. We're going to do both. And I wanted to hold off the reading until the end because I like ending on a positive note. And we're going to we may call this segment like OG Elevation. Want to make sure that we're starting off the show on a high note, positive energy, or just growth energy, I should say, and then finishing out on that same energy. I know a lot of the things that we may touch on, we may have to get a little heavy, may have to get even a little dark, go and shine the light in some of these dark areas, but it just is what it is. But it's very important for us to make sure, and this is just like in the morning or in the AM and in the evening, you want to make sure that you're starting the day off smiling before you get out of bed, appreciating the opportunity that you have, and then at night doing the same, being thankful and making sure that we're programming our mind with positivity and love. So this is a section out of, I want to get that tissue 1 second. I forgot it doesn't mute. All right, I'll get the tissue in a second. I'm good. All right, so love heals. Love facilitates healing. It transforms life. We see this in a true story about a duck hunter who was, wait, did I read this one to you guys? I wasn't sure which one that I read to you all. I think I read this one to you. I didn't read the other one. Hold on. Unconditional love. I think I read that one to you guys before. By continual surrender, we experience the state of unconditional love. Calibrates at 540, which is rare and occurs in only 0.04% of the population. One more time. We experience the state of unconditional love. Calibrates at 540, which is rare and occurs in only 0.04% of the population. This energy is miraculous, inclusive, non-selective, transformative, unlimited, effortless, radiant, devotional, saintly, diffuse, merciful, and selfless. It is characterized by inner joy, faith, ecstasy, patience, compassion, persistence, essence, beauty, synchronicity, perfection, surrender, rapture, vision, and openness. We relinquish seeing the personal self as a casual agent. Everything happens effortlessly by synchronicity. Joy emanates from the inner subjective experience of our own existence. The power of the joy is subjective, not stemming from any source outside of oneself. Thus, the energy of motor performance is inexhaustible. We may dance with ecstasy all night in a candlelit chapel, as if being danced by the source of life itself. In that state, the innate perfection and stunning beauty of all that exists shine forth like a luminous radiance, as the infusion of spiritual energy facilitates the transfiguration from perception to vision, from the linear to the nonlinear, and from the limited to the unlimited. While functioning in the world is still possible at the higher vibrations of love, the high 500s, we may end up leaving the ordinary arena of commerce and abandoning our prior social, wait, we got a word to look up, milieu, and occupation, M-I-L-I-E-U. This is what I do. Y'all are seeing it in real time. When I see a word, I feel like I already had to look that up. Sometimes you got to look these words up again when you hit them again if you don't remember them. M-I-L-I-E-U. All right, a person's social environment. All right, so that makes sense. So I'll read that last sentence again. While functioning in the world is still possible at the higher vibrations of love, the high 500s, we may end up leaving the ordinary arena of commerce and abandoning our prior social milieu and occupation. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it right. Unconditional love. And it's like all of this stuff is kind of touching on each other and connected. And shout out to my bro. Shout out to Cuzzo in the building. Hold on. And I'm going to read the comments in a second. Unconditional love. I was watching that Billy Carson interview with Andrew Schultz. And if you haven't seen it, we actually may touch on it on Wednesday. It is a deep one. They go into aliens. They go into religion. It's a deep, deep podcast. But, it's Andrew Schultz. So if you're not familiar with him, he's a comedian. Keeps it light. Billy Carson was talking about it being very easy to become successful. How he made a lot of money, became a millionaire, lost a lot of money, was living in his car, ended up homeless, and then made the money right back. And he said he's figured out like exactly how to make money. Like even if he loses money today, he can figure it out. It's an equation that a lot of people may not be willing to follow, but it's a very simple, straightforward equation. And he said that it's focused on passion. You have to be passionate about what you're committing your life to. Think about most of the jobs that we accept, the jobs that we're doing maybe right now. We may be sitting at our desk right now or getting ready to go to work. Are you passionate about it? Are you passionate about it? And now maybe think to a situation. I don't know. When's the last time that you were passionate about something? For me, I always see it in the difference between when I was playing sports, let's say in like middle school and for Montclair High School. There was a different level of passion there than when you start playing, let's say for a college where it's not your friends. It's just a different situation. But when you're locked in on something that you're passionate about, you know how we've always heard like, oh, it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like this. We are willing to go above and beyond in order to do things to accomplish our goals in areas that we're passionate about in a different way than if it's just something that we view as, oh, this is just my 9 to 5. This is just, I just got to do this to put the bills on the table. Most of the time, we're going to do bare minimum. We're not going to be, it's almost impossible to compete against somebody else where you're just kind of, you're indifferent about a topic and then they are obsessive about it. Because you want to know why? They're going to be thinking about it more. And what did we talk about? The whole visualization thing. They're going to be thinking about it more. They're going to always be figuring out different solutions, manifesting different things regarding this particular passion project that they have. When you remove the passion, it makes it very hard to go above and beyond. A lot of this stuff that, we're doing now, and this is another thing that can happen. You can almost create like a guilty conscience around the stuff that you're passionate about compared to the stuff that, well, that's work. You hear people all the time like prioritize the things like for work rather than the things that they're passionate about and the things that they want to make an impact on the world. That is just simply how we've been conditioned. It just is what it is in this society. But perhaps we're missing out on the opportunity for a continual surrender regarding unconditional love. Because everything that they're talking about in this, and maybe they may be thinking about the unconditional love, with a partner, they may be thinking about in different areas, and maybe it works, the same. But the ability to add passion and love to something, in my opinion, is always going to give us just an added energy, added inspiration. That may be the difference between motivation and inspiration in my mind. When you're inspired by something, it's a different feel. Like you're going to commit for the long run. When you're just motivated, it's kind of like, I'm motivated for today. That's just kind of how I see it. So unconditional love, in my opinion, we need this now in this world, maybe more than ever. But the ability to surrender, especially when you're surrendering to a purpose that you're passionate about, I'm kind of just going through the process right now, and everything is on the up and up as of now. So I'll keep y'all posted, but we definitely need more love, and maybe we'll circle back to that caption afterwards just to give us a reminder towards the end of the show. But now let's get into this nitty gritty. Let's make sure that we're catching up on these comments. So Urs wrote, energy cannot be created or destroyed. Oh, it was Einstein. All right, it is Einstein. I knew it was one of them smart guys. Cuzzo wrote, I truly believe only God and true prophets can exercise unconditional love. That's probably why the percentage of it are so low. And that's a good point that you bring up. I truly believe that only God and true prophets can exercise unconditional love. I think that there's a lot of things. To me, how I view God, like God is not, I don't limit God to just being a person. God can be a person. God can be everything. Like he's everything. So therefore he can be, you know what I mean? So God is the universe to me. So therefore, God is the ultimate standard in everything. How do we look at gods? We look at Michael Jordan as a god, right? We look at Tom Brady as a god. We may not, if we're sitting in church, we may get in trouble for saying like, that's not your God. Look at how society looks at people. That's what I'm referring to. It's a standard. It's the ultimate high standard. And people are given that term or that name or that recognition to be held in those high regards when they achieve something that is believed to be something that not a lot of other people would ever be able to reach that standard. So when I see God, I always see God as the ultimate standard, as something for us to continuously strive for, knowing that we may never get there. Knowing that we may never get there, but it's still striving for perfection, right? You may never, ever play a perfect game. You may never, ever have a perfect day. However, that shouldn't discourage us, in my opinion, from not striving to have exceptionally high, godly-like standards. So that's how I look at it. But I'm with you on it, Cuzzo. I'm with you. All right, so let's get into some of this. What we gonna start off with? Let me pull out my notes, man. I think we're gonna start off on. Let's start it off with Shannon. I was gonna start it off with. We're gonna start it off with Shannon. So Shannon's been in the news a little bit, man. Shannon's been getting called out after this Amanda Seals interview that he did. And hold on, which one do I want to show first? All right, so I want to show this one first, because my boy Shannon, man, it's looking like, you know, you give somebody a big bag of money and you know, you hope that they're not gonna switch it up on you, start pandering. And I'm not saying that Shannon, you gotta call stuff out when you see it. And this is a narrative that I saw being pushed, and that I see being pushed by a lot of people that I do not agree with, that I dislike, and I think that it's just not good for any progressive movement. So let's take a look at this. Hold on, let me share this screen. Oh, we already shared. Hold on, I want to be a little bigger, man. Don't mess up my ego. All right, so let's take a look at this. Shannon talking to Amanda Seals, and listen to how he brings up Candace.
People in our community forget that they're black. And they try to appease a group of people that's probably never going to embrace. Can you help me understand this?
I wasn't ready for that.
Sometimes, and it's happened before, people in our community forget that they're black. And they try to appease a group of people that's probably never going to embrace them. And once they realize that, guess who's the first group to take them back?
I don't know her.
You know, I ain't say nobody's name, Amanda. You don't even know who I'm talking about.
I don't know.
How you know who I'm talking about? But we've seen this happen before. Rest his soul, O.J. Simpson. You know, he had the famous quote, "I'm O.J., I ain't black." Even Michael Jackson went through what he went through, rest his soul.
Right.
Even Kanye had to be reminded. And now Miss Owens, I don't want no black pilots, I don't want this, I don't want that. And now we can't keep off our black media stations. When before she gave us her butt to kiss. Now, if I'm lying, if I'm speaking out of turn, people, y'all correct me. But y'all know
let me do so. Let me correct this brother. Shannon is pandering. It looks disgusting. It looks uncomfortable. And it's a shame that people are this sensitive. The world that we live in is this sensitive to where you have somebody like Candace Owens, and clearly Shannon doesn't listen to Candace Owens. You have somebody like Candace Owens who simply calls out people on certain. Candace Owens calls out people across the board. But what ends up happening? Each group that she calls out, if they embrace this victimhood mentality, they make it as if Candace Owens is just calling out their group. We've seen it. We have with Ben Shapiro in Israel, and we see it happen with the black community as far as what Shannon Sharpe is referring to right here. He is, first and foremost, why is in his mindset, he thinks that she's trying to now come back to the black community. No, she's been holding people accountable. She calls things out, and she's very passionate when it comes to the black community because she's black and she sees the things that are going on. She sees how we're being manipulated. She sees that, you know, people will, you get groups like Black Lives Matter. We need to be thanking Candace Owens. Candace Owens did an entire documentary uncovering Black Lives Matter being a total scheme. All them being total frauds. Them using Black death in order to make money and to put a lot of that money into a lot of different movements that had absolutely nothing to do with the things that they were standing on as far as they were protesting. But whenever you get a leader that holds your group accountable, whenever you get a leader that holds your group accountable when they don't want to be held accountable, why? Because it makes them uncomfortable. Why? Because life is not as fun when I accept what they're telling me. I want to just live this ratchet life and not care and just complain and be complacent and just rely on victimhood for me to just make myself comfortable about why I'm not successful. Candace Owens talks about, first and foremost, this is why we have to do a better job of listening to full content, not just clips. Matter of fact, on YouTube, the only reason why we have 14,000 followers on this YouTube page is because of a Candace Owens video that I put up, and it went viral last year, and it just generated thousands of followers. And it was a clip that probably most people I'm not going to say that most people disagreed with, but it triggered most people. Why did it trigger most people? Because when you tell the truth, when you tell somebody the truth and you don't do it in a way that, well, let's make it as politically correct so we can make sure that we're not offending anybody or we're just worried about their feelings. She's going to say it straightforward, exactly how it needs to be said, especially when we have the proof of, just being nice and saying it does not work. Y'all have had these type of coaches. When you think back on the coaches and maybe some of the teachers that were hard on you when you were younger, you realize that's because they wanted to get the most out of you. It's the people that don't discuss these topics. It's the people that won't be the oddball in the room. I showed you that video with Chase Green last week where we were talking about how you have to be willing to not be liked by the masses sometimes in order to lead. They're not there yet. Sometimes that the message that you're looking to push, sometimes your strategy in order to accomplish a particular goal is not going to be liked by the people. Because why? Because fun, let's look at it. Let's be real. Fun. A lot of the fun things are the things that are detrimental to us the most. The fun coaches. Oh, that's the fun kid. That's the fun. The things that we associate with fun, the things that we've been manipulated into believe that are fun, are either things that are going to lead us to probably getting locked up, living unhealthy, not having positive relationships, not having a good family structure, all these different things. But that's what fun is. So nobody wants to be the person. It's a lot. Who do you like more? The person that gives you candy or the person that forces you to eat your veggies? Who do we like more? Let's think about it as kids. We know we move the same way anyway. We got the minds of whatever. The person that gives you candy, we love. But what should happen as adults, right? As adults, you realize that person that was giving me candy, that wasn't good for me. That person that was just allowing me to eat all that BS, that wasn't good for me. Wow, you telling me that person that was forcing me to eat vegetables and the stuff that I hated and couldn't stand and tasted bland and had no seasoning, you're telling me that person actually loved me? That they were actually trying to raise me strong? That they weren't soft on me? That they weren't trying to just, you don't have to eat vegetables because, you could just eat meat, whatever, for whatever reason. It's the people that pander to us. We've fallen in love with people pandering to us so much that we can't even see things straight. Like, we actually believe in this people that pander to us rather than the people that are just direct and honest. And a lot of people are moving against this. So I don't know why this brother decided to go ahead with this type of narrative, but it's off. I was so disappointed in Shannon. We'll keep looking, because what you do is you open the door now for other people to criticize and pile on. And truth be told, you end up criticizing somebody and jumping on board, bullying and ganging up on this person, when the majority of people are only doing it because they know that what she's saying is factually true and that it applies directly to them. Imagine that. All right. Bez wrote, she said, I don't want DEI pilots. Facts. And they always try to switch up the words. There's nothing. It's so funny. It's almost it's the same thing where there was a conversation with Bill Maher and RFK. And this is why we said last week, we have to stop just accepting hearsay. Like, did we not play the telephone game when we were kids? We played the telephone game, right? Where you tell this person tells this person, tells this person, tells this person, and you go around the entire room. And by the time it gets to the last person, it has absolutely nothing to do with what it started off as. That is how we receive our news. Think about it. We will listen to our favorite news station tell us about what somebody else thinks, or our favorite celebrity tell us about how they feel about this particular person, rather than us just going to look at the person. Candace Owens has a YouTube channel. Y'all do realize that. Like, you can actually go watch a show of hers. And what haters like Shannon Sharp, I don't even know why he's doing this. He's just being a hater right now. You'll see me agree with him in a later video, or, well, I don't know whether I agree on it, but you'll see. This hater type of mindset is because now that we're seeing Candace Owens go on the Breakfast Club, if you guys got the chance to see Candace Owens on Joe Budden podcast, what we end up realizing is that she makes a lot of these people interviewing her look very silly. And that's what happens when you bring truth to the table, and when you bring practical solutions to the table, and when other people are so used to being complacent and playing that victim card, when you bring that real truth and practical solutions and steps to the table in order to resolve an issue, it's like they just look foolish. They look foolish. She went and talked to Charlemagne and Envy, and the conversation, she's controlling the room. Why? Because she's honest. Not because she's super smart. She is super smart and talented from that regard, but because she's just honest. When you see her sit down with Joe Budden saying the silliest stuff just to respond to her. Because how else do you respond to truth? How else are you able to be combative against truth and honesty and practical solutions? But that's not what they're looking for. They're scared that if they start accepting Candace's views, if they start agreeing with her, then the people that cut their checks are going to be looking at them funny. But we have to do our due diligence. We are, in my opinion, you take somebody like Candace Owens, there's a few people like that, but somebody like Candace Owens, you realize she's only 34? She's only 34, that talented, that influential, actually willing to tell the truth no matter what comes with it. And we're seeing this in real time as she just ended terms with Daily Wire, or they fired her, whatever you want to call it. These are we always hear stuff like protect women, protect black women, da, 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 da. Why doesn't it apply to a woman like Candace Owens, who's actually trying to save our community, who's actually trying to implement practical steps and discuss situations like, oh, having a father in the household helps. People will bash her for saying that. All these different things that we just accept because the people that we're getting our information from, we're fans of, or they're celebrities, or it's just easier for us to digest the information that they give it to us because they give it to us with a lot of salt and sugar, compared to the people that just give us the raw veggies that we're looking for. This is what happened, and we're gonna have a quote out of the Bible in regards to this, because this is something that I didn't see later on in regarding to something I just mentioned. But this is an issue. Let's keep going though, and we'll watch a couple more minutes of this.
I'm telling the truth. Now, you're talking about somebody that's always uplifted this community. And I was one of the first guys that had a viral moment with Cat Williams, and they couldn't wait. They couldn't wait to attack me. But Candace has given y'all her butt to kiss for 2 decades. And the moment, what they do, they can't find.
Yo, this is highly feminine. behavior. And I don't even mean that in a disrespectful way to women. Let me no, hold on. Let me rephrase that. My apologies. This is emasculated behavior. Yeah, I hope you accept my apologies. I think a better way of me saying it, this is emasculated behavior. And the reason why I said it's feminine, because this is gossipy. Like, he's having like girl talk. You see, Cuzzo just wrote it. The gossip is outrageous, bro. That's why I said it's feminine, but I didn't want to offend y'all. And it's just emasculated. This man is speaking on her. She gave your butt to kiss. Like, what? Like, this is what happens when you get called out for something. Like, Shannon was in the news heavy. They kept calling him gay because of his his movements and stuff like that. And it's almost like now he's like trying to just, who can I make fun of, or who can I like? You know how somebody does something to you, and somebody's getting picked on, and you try to pass it off onto somebody else. Like, bro, this is not it. Like, I don't even know where this comes from. I'll be totally honest. I don't even think that he actually believes this. I don't think that he actually believes this. And because of my fault, I didn't respond to all the comments or say, you said you hit the nail on the head. Yeah, that was in regards to, when we started off the convo. Every coach we ever had, they focused on building young men first, athletes second. That's what we're looking to. And that is the difference with a lot of these sports that we see. And I'm sure if Bez is on, he's going to talk about, he's going to have something to say about Deion. And we're going to do a segment on Deion very soon. Maybe Bez can jump in on here. Khalil been running from that conversation, so he doesn't want it. The gossip is outrageous. His movements plus these kind of moments is why people said that word. And it's like, bro, when you don't question certain stuff, when you don't have those insecurities, you don't have to do all this extra stuff. Like, what makes him, I'm telling you, I don't even think Shannon believes this based on certain things that Shannon is, he's with that woke stuff, that new age wokeness, but I don't even think that he believes this. I'll be totally honest. Let's keep going. And then they toast in a glass to, let's hate on Candace. Let's toast. Like, what? Bro.
2 decades. In the moment. What they doing? But Candace has given y'all her butt to kiss for 2 decades.
Candace Owens is 34 years old. Unless she just turned 35 in the last couple of weeks. And this man is saying that Candace Owens was giving us her butt to kiss. This is terrible journalism. And he's getting pushed to say this. And why do I say it's terrible journalism? Candace Owens started off as a liberal politician. Like, she started off in the liberal movement. She started off in the liberal movement. She talks about it all the time, that she didn't get swayed to start looking, in a more conservative way until she started, later on, after she was, super liberal. She started reading, like in college, she was super liberal. She was saying that she was doing certain things in college, but even after that, she started reading Thomas Sowell. She heard one of Donald Trump's speech to where he said, well, y'all been voting Democrats, the entire time, haven't gotten anywhere. What do you have to lose by giving me a shot? And it made sense to her, like it made sense to a lot of us. Like, it's starting to make sense to a lot of us right now. And you see some of these numbers when you see a lot of the people leaving the Democratic Party. But why would he just lie and say that? I don't even think 6 years ago, Candace Owens would identify as a conservative. And this man just said that for 2 decades, a 34-year-old woman has been giving us her butt to kiss just so he can appease the woman that he's interviewing right now. Emasculated behavior. It's like, bro, all them muscles, all that money, and it doesn't matter because your mind is still emasculated. This is disgraceful.
Candace has given y'all her butt to kiss for 2 decades. In the moment, what they doing? They can't fire me. They can't fire me. The hell you say? Now look at her.
It's not her fault.
You giving auntie
Whose
vibes,
fault is it?
man.
Oh, no. Let's not take that
Spaces
blame.
that let her back in.
Huh?
The spaces that let her
Shine
back
the
in.
bill.
Oh, okay. But that's how we are.
Yo, hold on. Yo,
we're very forgiving people.
Who taught us to be that?
Yo, the spaces that let her back in, we are forgiving people, bro. Shannon, stop it. You live in Beverly Hills, like all this we stuff. You got about as much in common as the average black person as I don't know. Like, bro, knock it off. The average white person has more in common with the average black person than you have in common with the average black person. As far as the we always try to use this we stuff. And they talking about it's the platforms that let her back in. What do you mean let her back in? Who kicked her out? Like who gave y'all the power and ability to kick her out or to act as if she's not here? This is insane. It's weak, emasculated on this end, and I don't even know how to describe the energy on the right side.
We do.
Who taught us that version of forgiveness? Do I need to do the lesson?
No, because I know.
Them slave owners taught us that version of forgiveness. They gave us a Bible called the Slave Bible. And this Bible had parts of it taken out. It had the parts of uprisings taken out. It taught about forgiveness because they needed to make it okay in their minds.
No matter how bad I treat you, at some point in time, I need you to forgive me for the wrongs I've done.
Yo. How long are we going, how long we gonna blame slavery for our current situations? I'm not saying if you want to, cool, that's on you. But how long are we about to, you ever noticed people like her, they've had the same argument like their entire whatever activist careers or whatever category she falls into. How do I know? Because I used to look for people like that. I used to say stuff like exactly how she said it. But there has to be an evolution process. You have to realize me constantly complaining about this absolutely doesn't do anything. Me embracing this victim mentality, we're forgiving now because of slavery, bro. I'm not blaming slavery for nothing that goes on in my life. Why? Because it doesn't do me any good to do so. Now you could say, oh, well, you don't have to blame it, but you could acknowledge it. You could acknowledge. No, you could acknowledge it. I don't how does this help you in your day-to-day life? Oh, so you embrace it, right? Or you acknowledge it, right? Okay, so slavery, all right, cool. All right, we're so enslaved. We got this thing. Who do you work for? If you're really offended by slavery and all this other thing, who you at your 9 to 5 with right now? You working for the black-owned man, or who do you bank with? What grocery store do you knock it off, bro? Everybody's so passionate about saying why we have a problem. But nobody seems to be as passionate about actually fixing the problems and creating solutions. We will use every single ounce of effort, energy, take money from George Soros, apply it to this, we will do absolutely everything to complain about a problem, but do absolutely nothing to take the practical solutions in order to solve that problem. And that's what Candace talks about. But instead, we have grown up as a people. We want people to just make us feel good about the atrocities that we went through and that why we should be victims and all this other stuff. And black people can't be racist and because we don't have the power. Bro, knock it off. We got another, probably about 30 more seconds of this. And that's it.
Because they had convinced themselves that it was still okay to keep people enslaved whose souls were saved.
Yeah.
Even though they knew that was counterproductive to the teachings that they had learned. So, we are oftentimes forgiving to our own detriment.
We are.
And listen, here's the thing. You know what the thing about forgiveness is that you should absolutely forgive people who ask for it.
Right. Right.
Who ask for it.
And I'm okay with that. I'm okay to forgive.
All right, I can't even deal with it. I can't even deal with it. So, all right, sticking with Shannon Sharpe in this same interview, I have another clip that I want to show y'all. I want to get your opinion on this. I want to get y'all opinion on this. Because this may be the only part of the interview that they were agreeing on. And matter of fact, hold on. Before I do this, look at how, hold on, let me show y'all this cheesy stuff. Hold on. Let me show y'all where.
Action, it looks like naive.
Hold on.
Thing to anybody who has a mind.
Hold on. I want to show y'all look at this corniness. Hold on.
To respond, don't feel like you need to defend them.
No.
But baby, you can't.
I'll let you have your space. This is your safe space to say your piece.
Can I have a hug?
No, you wouldn't give me no hug earlier. I try to get a down.
I have to get to a hug. And now I'm there. Can I have a hug?
Yes, you can have a hug.
It's uncomfortable. Yo, this is. Yo, what is going on? Yo, all right, I want to show y'all this other clip. So this is after they were done hugging. Lana said she needs a hug and some. All right, take a listen to this. Hold on. Is it on the screen? Hold on. Let me make sure. All right, so it's on the screen. Take a look at this. Take a look at this back and forth, and y'all get my opinion because I may be tripping because the people that I sent it to, I didn't see it the way that they saw it. So I may be the one tripping here. I'm always open to that.
Situation at Disney, I was there as the only black girl.
Okay.
And there was a whole crew. It's like 12 of us. And so I was called an N-word right there while I was there. And I was also bullied while I was there because I was told that you're only here because you're black. You can't really dance. You're just here because you're black. So don't get any ideas. So that's what I'm being told by the other children. Does that suffice as racist to you, or would you want to call it something else? Is that just kids being mean?
The kids. So let me
look at her face. We're going to leave it like that. All right, so my question would be, and y'all heard me say black people, this is the narrative that you hear when you talk a lot about racism and black people always want, black people can't be racist. We don't have the power to be racist. Do kids? I don't know. Hold on. Let me play a couple more seconds. Hold on.
That's your question. As a child, you never said anything derogatory? You was just this model citizen as a child? I mean, children. No, we're talking children, not functioning adults. Now, if you told me the adults, parents were telling you this, or the execs or people that are in charge of Disney are telling you this, I could agree with it. But at 89, you're probably 8, 9 years of age.
So now Shannon on the other side. So he was with all the woke pandering. Now he seems to be coming back to, and I think this was the majority of the energy of the interview, which is why I said I don't even think Shannon believes what he said about Candace Owens, but I don't know which came first in the interview because I just watched clips. So what do y'all think about this? Children do what they see, right? They don't know what they're doing. That's the whole point, I thought, as to why children shouldn't be like, well, I don't like all this influence with the drag queens coming into the schools and all this other stuff and them influencing kids to be fluid and transgender and all this. That's because they're kids. They're impressionable. The kids had to be told or taught that. So, and let me ask you this. So if we go back to what Shannon, she said that, one of the kids said nigger or nigga, said one of them. And then she said that they also, I think she mentioned that first, and then she mentioned two other things. And the last thing that she mentioned was the kid saying that you're only here because you're black. Well, maybe she was only there because she's black. But isn't that what a lot of our DE and I influences encourage it? Yeah, you're here because you're black. There's a quota. Let's be real. Looking at Disney, you can look at a lot of these Disney shows, or you can look at commercials where all right, we got to have the mixed person represented. We got to have, all right, we got a white person. All right, we got to have, okay, yeah, let's get that lady there. We know how this goes. So truth be told, those kids were probably just repeating exactly what they were told as far as her being there because she's black. But as far as the kids, I just feel like it's a slippery slope that we go down if we start believing that 8, 9-year-olds know what they're talking about if they say something stupid and repeat something that their parents said or that they saw on a TV show or exposed on TikTok. I don't know. But it's very hard for me to, I don't know. And then think about it. We've had debates where a lot of these protesters, when they were on schools initially, a lot of these companies that had Jewish representatives or Jewish ownership, they were calling the schools and they were either pulling the amount of money that they contributed as far as, they would give money for, I don't know, contributional purposes for the school. They would just contribute. That was their way of giving back. But then they also asked for a list of the students that were participating in a lot of these protests and a list for a lot of the students that wrote down. I think you can write down your name on a particular, I forget what exactly it's called. What do they do when they write down the name on a campaign or something? It's like, hey, I support this. They were asking for the name, so therefore they can make sure that those kids don't get hired at their firms or maybe other firms. Now, on one end, hire whoever you want at your firm. But on the other end, there was a lot of conversation as far as yo, they're kids, man. You just don't understand. They're getting manipulated, the college kids, they think that they're doing the right thing. They don't know. When I was a 19, 20-year-old, I thought this, and I would have been labeled as an asshole or a racist or whatever else. But now but we're talking about 8, 9-year-old kids here. A petition. Yeah, petition. We're talking about 8, 9-year-old kids. And let me be very clear. Kids can be asshole and mean and all those other things. They very well can. When I was in 8th grade, I remember I went to MKA and I got a scholarship to go there. Whatever. I don't know if it's an actual scholarship for 8th grade, but they gave us money to go there, or we didn't pay the full tuition because they wanted me to go there. I'm sure it had to do with probably me being black, or at the very least, just me being a good football player. And the first day that I was there, I could remember, dang, what was this little kid's name? I think his name was Max. No, it wasn't Max. It wasn't Max. Max was my dog, Scott. Max. No. It was this little kid that used to hang with my boy Max. And I forget his name. He was like a little nerd. Not in a bad way. He was a little nerd, though. And he said, hey, I heard you're here on a football scholarship. I heard you're here because you play football. And I took it. I was offended by it. I was offended by it at the time because I was like, yo, what? What makes you come up here just thinking that I'm here on a football scholarship? What makes you think that I'm here just to play football? Why? Because I'm black and I'm good at football? What makes you think I'm here to play football? He was right. He was telling the truth. I was there because I was playing football. The way that I was, if I did not play football, I would not have been there. Shout out to Coach Fish, one of my favorite football coaches of all time. Coach Fish went and grabbed me, said yo, we were at a baseball game in Townley the year before. He's like, yo, you want to go to MKA? And this is around when Allen Iverson was at Georgetown. So in my head, I was thinking yo, I got to go to a private school in order to go to Georgetown so I could be like AI. That kid was saying the truth. Do I think that the kid was racist? And that's a lot older. That's 13 years old. But to think an 8, 9-year-old and to be living with that, and clearly it impacts you in a way, we got to figure this thing out. Regardless of whether or not we think it's racist or not, how do we figure out how to move on from this and it not impact us to the point where clearly it's still triggering to her? Keith said he flip-flopping for content. They hit every quota in every TV now. We know exactly what's going on. The thing that gets me is the quota isn't real. I have very few friend circles that look like the ones on TV. That's interesting. Queez, no, Coach Fish. He was trying to get Queez up over there too. Right after that camp that we did. But yeah, it's just very hard. And this is the thing. It doesn't not like validate a person's experience going through it. Like you can say like, no, Dak, when you went through that, you were hurt. You know, that was messed up what that kid did. Maybe I felt that way at the time. Now I'm not really bothered by it. I'm not really bothered by it. And truth be told, he was telling the truth. So it is what it is. Let's move on from this. Oh, wait, hold on. We didn't even finish playing it. Hold on. Play a little more.
Maybe younger.
So you have no problem with the children that were cursing out Ruby Bridges and the Little Rock Nine? You think do you think that was just them being kids? Nobody
said it's not a problem. It's them being little asshole kids, but to consider that under the racist umbrella and to associate it, we know that we know that this racism word gets thrown around to the point where people don't even know what it means anymore. Like literally, it gets thrown around every incident, Ukraine, Russia, Israel, Palestine. You got both sides saying it's racist. Like what? Like everything's just racist. Matter of fact, everything is racist. You want to know why everything is racist? Everything is racist because we're not living by maybe a lot of these scriptures that everybody claims to live by. Because we are just so competitive. Because most groups of people will step on another group of people in order for their group of people to be in a more favorable position. Let's just be real. Let's just be real. Shoot, there's a lot of my friend groups. When I sit up here and tell y'all, yo, my people has nothing to do with being black. When I say my people, I'm talking about my people, the people that I align with from a moral standpoint, integrity standpoint, principle standpoint. As soon as you say that you're just aligning with a group of people because of a color of your skin or because of this ethnicity or whatever else it may be, you're competing. It's a race, right? Racist, it's a race. I want to be more superior than yours. And chances are, do we trust people that once they get in a powerful position, do we trust them to not rig the rules that are in their best interest and in their favor? Do we trust humanity to do that? Or do we just go back to our beastly animalistic, I shouldn't even say go back to, do we go to our beastly animalistic nature? Matter of fact, we don't have an animalistic nature. I don't think so. Well, I go back and forth there, and we're actually got a couple quotes from the Bible later on that we're going to touch on that. But let's move on from here. I think we got enough of this. We're going to try to get this done in the next 20, 30 minutes. All right. So I got to show y'all this. I'm going to bounce. It's going to sound like I'm bouncing around a little bit, but these are my thoughts. I want y'all to bear with me. So the whole Christ is King, we've heard that a lot, right? Did she just compare herself to Miss Bridges? The audacity. Yo, keep funny. Should have coasted the high. Yeah, Coach Fish should have definitely coasted the high, man. That was our guy. All right, so hold on. Y'all heard the whole Christ is King thing. What are we really saying? What are people really saying? I want to know, what do people mean when they say Christ is King? Do they mean that Jesus is a king? Do they mean that Jesus is the King of all kings? Because I hear that too when they say that. So immediately when you say that, the King of all kings, you know that you're like, if we all have different nations and we have different kings that represent our nations, and as soon as somebody says, you know, okay, yeah, Bob, that's our king. Bob is king. Well, okay, well, Bob is king. Like, you know, he's their king. You know, cool. Okay. Ryan is our king. Okay, cool. All right. But when you say Bob is the king of all kings, clearly that's a shot at Ryan, right? Like, clearly this is how this goes. And it's so funny to me because we just act like we don't see certain things. So I try to call a spade and be objective and call everybody out. But that was just an interesting conversation to me. So I'm going to bounce around a little bit as I pick on everybody. So keep in mind. All right. So and you heard me speak earlier about the food and the maybe I didn't speak on it. When you have a mentality that is built on my king is better than your king, my religion is better than your religion, it creates superiority complexes and inferiority complexes. And we see it across the board. So when I read, I'm going to read something to you. Hold on one second. I'm going to go in a little bit of a different order. So I'm going to read something to you. I think it's out of order a little bit. Hold on one second. Hold on. Okay. And all the others, this is scripture. I think this is the book of Enoch. So Enoch, a lot of people aren't familiar. Enoch is one of the books that was removed from the Bible. People speculate for a bunch of different reasons because they say it involves like magic and I don't know, a bunch of different stuff. It also supposedly says where it identifies the skin color of the people living then, whatever. Pay attention to what is said in here. And I'm always, shame on us when you look at the Bible, right? For all the Christians, you have a Bible that had a lot more books in it than the Bible that we have now, the original Bible. So if the original Bible was written by God, I guess at these councils that they had when they pick and choose what books would be in it and out it, what translations, how they would be making it, I guess God told them to remove some of the books. If you believe that, you believe that. Me, I'm the type, I'm going to look into that. So that's why I'm reading this book. And as soon as in the first few pages, this is page 25. And if you can see the screen, hold on, let me make sure y'all can see it. It's page 25. And obviously it's really page 10 because the screen's so big. Take a listen to this. And all the others together with them took unto themselves wives, and each chose for himself one. And they began to go in unto them and to defile themselves with them, have sex. And they taught them charms and enchantments and the cutting of roots and made them acquainted with plants. And they became pregnant, and they bare great giants whose height was 3,000 ells. I don't know what that is. ELLS. I don't know what the L's are. Who consumed all the acquisitions of men. And when men could no longer sustain them, the giants turned against them and devoured mankind, and they began to sin against birds and beasts and reptiles and fish, and to devour one another's flesh and drink the blood. Then the earth laid accusation against the lawless ones. So on Friday, remember we were talking about, I gave y'all a long explanation of the real reason why now it's hard for me to go back and eat meat, fish, and eggs. Literally the next day, when I was flying back to Jersey, I just happened to click on this. I was like, you know what? Let me get in. I was listening to Billy Carson's interview with Andrew Schultz, and I said, let me actually tap into this book of Enoch. I don't know about y'all, but that seems pretty alignment for me. The fact that we would have y'all, L is 45 inches, Keith said. All right, so that's, 3,000, whoa, 3,000 L's. All right, so giants. Okay, so then we had some giants. All right, and we've heard these stories before. It says it right here. The giants turned against them, so I don't know why we're surprised, I guess. I don't know why I'm surprised. But when we talk about on Friday, and we talk about how the earth is connected and how the universe is connected and how we have these commandments based on that people are supposed to live. When you say you're a Christian, I'm assuming that you live by the Christian commandments. You know, you go to work, you have your work principles or whatever y'all do, whatever team, every team that I ever played on have, these are our team values. And this is what we, you know, live by. Okay. We talked about it saying thou shalt not kill, right? It didn't say thou shalt not kill each other. It just said thou shalt not kill, right? Okay, so let me keep reading. So what's basically saying is that they were introduced to plants. But when men could no longer sustain them, the giants turned against them and devoured mankind. So they killed the humans, and they began to sin against birds, beasts, reptiles, and fish, and devour one another's flesh and drink the blood. Is that not what we do with the animals? Now, I'm not looking to change y'all as far as your eating habits, but what I am looking to just show y'all is the alignment that happens with us just speaking on this stuff Friday. And I also want to just highlight that it's not just me saying this stuff. And I don't even know where I got this from. It's literally just from me observing and me having my conversations with God. I don't know why it's not taught that everything in our universe is connected. If we need vitamin D from the sun, if literally the sun shining on us can make us healthier, why do we sit around and act as if our actions don't also impact the universe? But then we'll accept and embrace a lot of these religions that actually just say it, right? God created all, right? So we're all in unison. We're all working together. We all function as a whole. The things that we do negatively, if it impacts the environment in a bad way, we are going to feel that. The entire universe is going to feel that. So let me keep going. One more, I think I got, hold on. All right, so one more little caption. And Azazel, sorry, pronunciation with the names, and Azazel taught men to make swords and knives and shields and breastplates, and made known to them the metals of the earth and the art of working them, and bracelets and ornaments, and the use of, antimony, and the beautifying of the eyelids, and all kinds of costly stones, and all coloring tinctures. And there arose much godlessness, and they committed fornication, and they were led astray, and became corrupt in all their ways. Look, if we are not going to take it seriously, as far as what's going on in this world, as far as what's going on in our brains, our minds, and how we are being impacted by all of these negative influences, and how we are allowed to become the unhealthiest versions of ourselves, the meanest versions of ourselves, how everybody is just completely separated, how we are okay with just war, right? We looked at Tucker Carlson's clip last week when he was just talking about the atom bombs. Let me kind of switch gears, and I want to show y'all this other clip. But all of this is based on how we have become so beastly in nature that we don't even appreciate life the way that we should. Because if we appreciated life more, then we wouldn't be able to get manipulated into disliking each other, into hating each other, and being cool, and us just living over here like it's a regular day, checking our Instagram. Meanwhile, 30,000 people getting killed just for being on their land or being on land. Regardless, I don't care whose land it is. People shouldn't be dying over land disputes. It just is what it is. That's not godly. And then when you do it in God's name, forget what she's talking about. See, what Amanda Seals was talking about. See, they told us to forgive, and that may be very well be true, but let's dig a little deeper here. Let's dig a little deeper. All of these religions that claim, that say it very clearly, thou shalt not kill, literally will kill if it's in what they determine as their best interest, business-wise or any other way, in order to take land or take something that's not theirs. Christians have done it. Jewish people have done it. Arabs have done it. If you really want to talk about slave trade, then let's talk about the Arab slave trade, because the Arab slave trade with the Arabs coming down throughout Africa was twice as long as what apparently happened in America with the Atlantic slave trade. And it was far more brutal. So I know a lot of people like to say, well, look at y'all accepting that white man's religion, Christianity. You know, a lot of my Muslim brothers. Well, look at y'all. How did you get your religion? How did anybody get their religion? A lot of times you were forced and conquered in order to believe in something, just based off of somebody else using their religion and doing evil acts in the name of their religion. Let's keep going though. Let's keep going. I want to show y'all this. Y'all got to see this next clip. You have to see this. Hold on. Let me just keep in mind human life. Keep in mind human life. Let's take a look at this. This was a Bill Maher show. Hold on, let me listen to this conversation. Listen to this conversation. Shout out to my dog, Russell Brand. Hold on. Hold on. All right, so this is from Russell Brand show. Well, Russell Brand, he put the clip down, so hold on. Let me make sure I'm catching up with hold on. Divide and conquer, bro. Divide and conquer. How we say get down to lay down. Facts, bro. Facts. All right, so take a look at this. It's Russell Brand. Russell Brand, he comes, he's another one that we gotta start appreciating the people that are willing to talk about things that everybody else is scared about, and the people that are willing to challenge the things, the powers that be in different ways. You may not agree with them yet. You may not agree with them ever. However, you have to appreciate somebody's willingness to try to go about solving a problem and being willing to use their platform when you know it's not going to be favorable for you from a monetization standpoint. You're going to get blacklisted. You're going to have all these things that may end up happening to you, but you're still willing to speak on it because you are in a search for truth. Those are the people that we got to make sure that we're keeping elevated. Those are the people we got to protect. All right, so let's take a listen to this. It's wild.
Unity.
Actually, there are many countries in Europe where it's completely illegal to have an abortion. Poland, Malta, places like Andorra, so, and if you look at Germany and France and countries like that, it can be 10, 12 weeks is the term limit that you're allowed to have an abortion legally. So America is not such an outlier. It does go to the States. I think a lot of Americans on the left do think that this is somehow a really unique American problem or an issue that only pertains to them in terms of the legality of abortions. Actually, comparative to Europe, is not massively dissimilar.
But the thing that's crazy is at a time when America is facing
just
many huge geopolitical threats, where there's a huge tech revolution going on, where the economy is faced with all kinds of challenges, the idea that you're fighting an election around this issue seems to be, just strange. Back to the 19th century.
Well, it's a good point. It's a good point. It's a good point. Now let's keep listening.
Not if you believe it's murder. That's why I don't understand the 15-week thing. Or the Trump's plan is, let's leave it to the states. You mean, so killing babies is okay in some states? Like, I can respect the absolutist position. I really can. I scold the left on when they say, oh, you know what? They just hate women. People who aren't pro-life, pro-choice. They don't hate women. They just made that up. They think it's murder. And it kind of is. I'm just okay with that. I am. I mean, there's 8 billion people in the world. I'm sorry, we won't miss you. That's my position on it. What?
Bill Maher there.
Let's take a look at listen to that again one more time.
Pro-life, pro-choice. They don't hate women. They just made that up. They think it's murder, and it kind of is. I'm just okay with that. I am. I mean, there's 8 billion people in the world. I'm sorry, we won't miss you. That's my position on it. What?
Bill Maher there.
Wow. Well, all right. And why am I bringing this up? I'm going to tell you why I'm bringing this up. We're talking about life, right? We're talking about all these commandments that people supposedly live by. That lady made an excellent point. She said that with everything going on in the world, she's questioning, why is this such an issue? And Bill Maher, you all heard and probably felt what he said. And it was dark. It was dark. And this is what I'm realizing. And I'm realizing that I get caught up in it as well. That's why I'm so like appreciative of just like, yo, if you just be objective, if you just kind of take a step back, because I wasn't able to do that before, but it's almost like you just see so much when you just take a step back and you're not just consumed with just taking the options that they give. Now, what do I mean by that? We're so used to just accepting the options that people are given to us, that people give it to us with these political parties and whatnot. Think about it. Biden. Well, he's just the lesser of two evils. So we just accept, we can only choose between these two. No. The Democrats knew that Biden was a little shaky. They could have brought forth a couple different candidates and said, you know what, Joe, if you want to run, then you'll run. But, we're going to open the door for a lot of other people to compete. But why they can't do that? Because it shakes things up with their organization, even though that would be what's best for the people, right? The people that they supposedly are leading. So when you just accept the options that they give, it's like, okay, you're either pro-choice or pro-life, right? Bill Maher kept it real. Bill Maher kept it real. We may not like it. It may make us feel uncomfortable, especially the people that are pro-choice. They're probably looking at this like, well, shit, I'm pro-choice, but I don't really, I wouldn't say it like that. I wouldn't say 8 billion people here, you won't be missed. I probably wouldn't position it like that. But I appreciate Bill Maher for keeping it real how he did. I appreciate Bill Maher for keeping it real how he did. Now, what I think we need to realize is that I want us to focus on what I'm talking about when I say that we just accept what is given to us. Pro-choice or pro-life. And I realized when I was having a conversation with Maya the other day that, if you asked me last week, would I be like, yo, I'm pro-life? I wouldn't have been like that 10 years ago, or maybe even 5 years ago, or maybe even 3 years ago. But just based on me understanding life a little bit differently, not to say that I understand it better, but just where I am, I was like, nah, man. I just see the evils that and how companies like Planned Parenthood prey on younger kids. I don't think that I think that Planned Parenthood and these other companies that are doing all these abortions, they're encouraging it, obviously, for their own pockets. And I also hate that we have such a culture that pushes for us having just trivial sex, raw sex at that. Don't worry about it. You can have sex with all these different people. That's encouraged in our society. That's how we were brought up. So it really puts us in a messed up position to now where y'all have been the leaders in the community. This is why I always get on parents. How did y'all allow this society to be pushed on our generations? Parents, grandparents, where were y'all at? Our entire culture is based on us just having sex with as many different women as we can. Women have no idea how to choose men. Women are allowing guys to nut in them that have no business nutting in them because they can't take care of babies. They don't have the mental makeup to take care of them. But that is what our culture is built on. So it's almost like, oh, well, we push them to have this type of culture that, convinces them and encourages them to just have sex. Don't worry, use a condom. You're having kids make adult decisions. And kids are not always going to just use a condom because they're kids. Their brains are not fully developed. They don't understand that their decisions, their actions now and decisions now are how they're going to impact them later on down the line. They're just thinking about the pleasure now, which is what a lot of adults do right now. So therefore, when you look at these type of situations, it's like you have the culture that pushes them to have this sex. And then the companies are like, yeah, keep pushing that culture. Just how, remember Ice Cube on Bill Maher said that the people that own the prisons, those are the same people that own the rap companies and stuff like that. And we've all heard like they base how they're going to build prisons or how many prisons they're going to build based on 4th and 5th grade reading levels. Everything's connected here. So of course, companies like Planned Parenthood are going to use Meg Thee Stallion to be their Catalyst of Change award. So my point, going back to it, was like, I looked at it as just being one or the other. I looked at it as like, oh, I don't think abortions are moral right now. I do things all the time. Well, actually I don't, but I'm sure I make mistakes all the time. That's what I meant to say. I'm not saying that obviously nobody's perfect. That's the godly standard that we referred to earlier. But when you're intentionally doing things, let me get back to I look at abortions, I just don't like them. Is that a good way to say it? Whether they're moral or not, I just don't like them. They make me feel uncomfortable now. They make me feel uncomfortable. I'm embarrassed about how I used to look at them. And I would love to find ways to where women don't feel that I would like to create more positive environments and to create maybe more responsible or to encourage more responsible sex choices for a lot of our younger kids in order so they don't have to go through that. Rather than have a culture that looks at an abortion like, oh, no, I just get an abortion. Like, it's no big thing. And especially me as a guy, I'm looking at it like, yo, if I feel this way, then I can imagine the impact that this would have on a woman actually going through this. Now, of course, there's always certain situations like rape, or, it can be, you can have a situation where it has to be an emergency procedure to save the mother's life. And I'm not questioning any of that. I'm not talking about any of that. There can always be, obviously, a space for that. And I think that there should be. But look at what I'm doing and look at how I looked at it before, because I realized that, I'm like, oh, well, I could still be pro-choice as far as like, hey, everybody can make the decision that they want with it. I just don't want to do it, or I just don't feel. And it's almost like back to the whole vaccination thing. Like how we look at stuff is just how they present. We accept how they present it to us. Either you're pro-life or you're pro-choice. We don't ever just say like, yo, why don't we just get together and figure out like, yo, okay, this certain situation. Okay, I see how you see there. Well, maybe we can figure this out. The same thing with the vaccination. When RFK was on Bill Maher's show the other day, RFK is like they try to villainize him as an anti-vaxxer. And he said very clearly, no, I'm not against vaccines. I just do my due diligence and I don't want to be mandated to take them. I'm against the mandates, not against the vaccines. That's a totally different thing. I'm against the mandates. I'm not against the vaccines. If you want to take a vaccine, you should take a vaccine. If I was you, I would do my due diligence and research, and I would be skeptical with anything that I receive from the pharmaceutical companies and the healthcare industry in general. That's just me. But if you want to take one, you should take one. So what happens is, and I wrote this down in my notes because I wanted to make sure that I hit these points. I think that there's people on both sides, whatever side that you're on or whatever non-side you're on, but especially when it comes to Democrats and Republicans, I feel that the majority, that there's a large portion of both groups that have to realize at some point that the people that they're standing with are not, they may push for the same results, or they think, but they're for vastly different reasons. And a lot of times it takes seeing a video like Bill Maher speaking on like just like an abortion, like, it is kind of murder. It is. I'm just okay with that. We got 8 billion people in here. You won't be missed. It takes sometimes seeing stuff like that to realize, like, hold on, like, is there a different way here? Like, hearing Bill Maher makes me actually understand why there's people on the other side, because he's so extreme. You get what I'm saying? So there needs to be a way of us just not accepting what is given to us. Us just not accepting, oh, either if you're a Democrat, you think like this. If you're a Republican, you think like that. There needs to be a way for people that are just genuinely what I would call good people, rational people, logical people, that have pretty good morals that we can agree on. There needs to be a space for people to kind of take a step back and realize, like, hold on, man, this ain't it. Like, even though this nut over here, like, we kind of waving the same flag, like we both on the same Democratic team. Like, yo, this dude is crazy. Like, I don't like this dude at all. I don't align with their morals. I don't think we may arrive at the same destination or think we're arriving at the same destination, but the reasons why we're going there are totally different reasons. And it's to the point where, just like I said, that Shannon Sharpe, you know, the average white person has more in common with the average black person, and Shannon Sharpe has more in common with the average black person. You could take that or leave it. I don't know. The average, in my opinion, Republican has more in common with the average Democrat than the average Democrat has in common with the extreme Democrats, and the average Republicans have in common with the extreme Republicans. But for whatever reason, the extreme people that are in the minority of those parties are the ones that determine the direction of the party, the agendas of the party, how they move, and everybody else just looks at it like, well, you know, these are the options, you know, I'm just going along with it. And we all do it. And that's how we get in these positions where we're wondering, like, yo, how did we get here? How do we have all of these amazing people in this country? And literally we're bickering between, like nobody wanted to see this fight again, right? Like, we're bickering between Biden and Trump. We have to question ourselves and take accountability for our actions in leading us to getting here. Let me get to these comments. My fault. Even broccoli screams when it's ripped from the crowd. Deep isn't real as discussions yet. Appreciate that, bro. Bruh's cooking today. Oh, good looking, man. Appreciate y'all. Real shit. Divide and conquer tactics. That's all. Yo, it really is divide and conquer. Divide and conquer. Do y'all not realize that the extreme Republicans, just like, hold on. Y'all have to understand that MSNBC really loves Trump. Y'all know that, right? And Fox really loves Biden. Why? Because they give them so much content in order to make money. Fox knows that if they put on Biden, they love it because they know that their Fox faithfuls are going to hate it. They're going to be looking at it passionately, mad, like, how is Biden president? And then MSNBC knows, yo, just throw Trump on there. Our ratings are low. All right, throw Trump on there. These people that follow us on MSNBC, they can't stand Trump. But they're going to tune in. And everything that we say about him, they're just going to believe because they want to believe it. These extremists are working together, whether they know it or not. I'm not saying it's like, yo, what if Coca-Cola and Pepsi are really the same company and they just created two, so therefore they can create battle in between each other, so therefore everything's going to win. I'm not saying it like that. Maybe I am saying it like that, actually. The extreme Democrats need the extreme Republicans. Because if an extreme Democrat comes across just like a regular moderate Republican, that's not what they're looking for. They're looking to create a moment. They're looking to go viral. They want to fight the other extremist. And these are just small percentages of each population, but we allow them to run everything. Quee said, yeah, we say, get down to lay down. That was dark, encouraging it. Yeah, definitely they are encouraging it. You think you look at them differently because you are in a position to be good and to be a good and stable father? Yo, I think I look at it differently for a bunch of different reasons. That's definitely one of them. When you take like full accountability and responsibility, and I don't always, like, when I'm looking at it from this standpoint of, is this action that I'm about to take, does this benefit? Is it beneficial or detrimental? Is this position that I'm taking, is it beneficial or detrimental? If everybody in the world made the decision that I'm getting ready to make right now, what would that do to the community? What would that do to the world? If everybody in the world thinks the way that I think right now, what would that do to the world? If everybody in the world, so these are kind of the conversations that I have with myself now. I'm not always scoring 100%. I'm being real with y'all. But me switching to that mindset has opened up my mind in a lot of different ways to where it's like, I just realized like, yo, I was the type, I remember having a conversation when we went to the Poconos and it was the homies and I, and we were talking about a situation like if somebody did something to my mother, it would be, I would have no problem nipping that, like doing something that would land me in jail just to make sure that that never happens. So that group of people never thinks that they can do that again to my family. You get what I'm saying? And now I'm looking at it. I'm not saying that that still isn't part of my mindset, but I just realize now what comes from that. Nothing's going to stop. Because even though I do something to that person because they did something to a family member of mine, well, their family now looks at it from a different perspective because they like, oh, you did something to my family. Nothing stops. It's just blood versus Crips. It's GDs versus Vice or whoever, you know what I'm saying? It's just, and we downplay and love to call out the gangs, but in all actuality, what's the difference between Palestine and Israel? What's the difference between these fights that we see all the time happening? What's the difference? It's just our perspective is different. War will not, there was a, who said it? There was a popular quote, I think, who was it? Nixon. I think Nixon said, or Reagan. Did Reagan say, who said that an atomic war cannot be won? Said that. Hold on, let me Google. What U.S. president said that a nuclear, maybe it was a nuclear. I think it was either Reagan or Nixon. Oh, my stomach growling. Hold on. Hold on. Now we got to figure this out. We got to figure out who we can give credit. Let's see. Reagan. Ronald Reagan and Mikhail. Yeah, Reagan said it. A nuclear war cannot be won and must never be fought. If a nuclear war cannot be won and must never be fought, well, how can any war be won? No war can be won. They've just done an exceptional job at convincing us. Think about it. You go to war, let's say this side, the other side loses 50,000 people, we lose 30,000 people, and we won. We didn't win. They just convinced us to win. They convinced us that those 30,000 people were justified for a greater cause, even though the people that are convincing you that we won didn't lose anybody in their families. And if they did, they were sacrificed for the greater good. We're not winning anything. We're simply getting closer and closer and kicking that can down the road to where it's only going to lead to one thing. And this is the godlessness that they're talking about in the Bible, in my opinion. This is like when you read about the story of Noah's Ark and you realize, and you know what's so funny? Enoch, that book of Enoch, so y'all don't just think that I'm just making this stuff up. The book of Enoch, let me show you how it starts off with. This is Enoch. So Enoch's the great grandfather of Noah. And this is who's speaking to him. Then said the Most High, the Holy and Great One, spake, the Great One spake, and sent Uriel to the son of Lamech, and said to him, go to Noah and tell him in my name, hide thyself, and reveal to him the end that is approaching, that the whole earth will be destroyed, and a deluge is about to come upon the whole earth, and will destroy all that is on it. And now instruct him that he may escape, and his seed may be preserved for all the generations of the world. And again, the Lord said, so, bro, why do we think that the world was in chaos? Is because everybody was living in such ungodly ways. Look around right now. Look around right now. We are moving in ungodly ways, and it's become our norm. It has literally become our norm. That's the scariest part. It's become normal for us to move with godliness. So let me show y'all this last clip. Let me make sure that I covered everything. Oh, yeah, we got to cover this. So my question would be, before we look at the next clip, we hear a lot of these evangelicals, talking about a situation like pro-life, right? Hear a lot of evangelicals talking about pro-life. You can't kill a fetus, right? Okay, cool. How is it okay, or how do you, in your mind, feel that it's not okay to kill a fetus, but you're perfectly okay with justifying 30,000 people dying over some land of not fetuses, actually fully developed human beings? That's why it's all BS. You're an evangelical Christian. Your commandment is thou shalt not kill. So how do you have an energy that is so passionate about killing baby fetuses, but you'll just sit back and let thousands and thousands of people get killed over some land and not step in and say, hey, this ain't it? Why? Because you've done it. You can't call somebody out on the stuff that you've done yourself and perhaps are still doing. Let's be real. Let's be real. Tell me a religious organization that didn't compromise their principles and values and push them to the side and convince you that it was okay because it was for a greater purpose. Well, this is what God told us. Manifest destiny, right? This is what God told us. God told us that any area that is not currently, does not currently have Christianity on it, then we can come and conquer it. Why? Because we're doing God's duty. We're teaching these savages God's way. We're teaching these savages. They should be thanking us. We're teaching them the teachings of Jesus Christ in their altered way with their new King James Version, right? It's all BS. It's all hypocrisy. People don't care. Like that lady said, she made a great point. Why is this such an issue? The abortion, like, why is it such a big issue with all this stuff going on? Why do these super religious people that are supposedly against killing baby fetuses, why are they just so nonchalant when it comes to actually full developed human beings dying over land, dying in their living rooms, in their homes? Why are we okay with this? Let's look at this last video real quick. Hold on. All right. We're going to ask Ben Shapiro to come to the stage for a second. We're going to ask, if I could find this clip, we are going to ask, damn, where did I see this one? Shit. Oh, sorry, I'm cursing. Okay, we got it. All right, so let me make sure that this is being shared. Y'all take a listen to this. So I played the Tucker clip for y'all last time.
Dropping the atomic
but I think
bombs
it plays
on
both.
Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
I love, by the way, that people on my side, I'll just admit it, on the right, have spent the last 80 years defending dropping nuclear weapons on civilians. Like, are you joking?
Like, wait for the response at the
That's
end.
just like prima facie evil.
Yeah.
If you can't, well, if we hadn't done that, then this, that, the other thing, that was actually a great savings. Like, no, it's wrong to drop nuclear weapons on people. And if you find yourself arguing that it's a good thing to drop nuclear weapons on people, then you are evil.
Meanwhile, fellow conservative Ben Shapiro dragged Tucker's take, calling it a left-wing position. God forbid. Let's play it.
It is mutually assured destruction and nuclear deterrence that has kept the world largely from sinking into another World War III-like mass casualty morass because of the horror of dropping the nuclear bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in the first place. By the way, when he says things like, how exactly would you justify, why are we talking about how many lives it would save? It's just wrong to drop the bomb. Well, no, actually, if you end up saving more lives than are cost by the dropping of the atomic bomb, then it is morally justified to drop the atomic bomb. And that happens to be the reality of the situation.
Do you understand that this is, yo, this is evil. This is what evil looks like. It is what it is. I don't care if you're a fan of Ben Shapiro. I don't care if he represents, your group, whatever else. It's evil. It's evil. It's evil. How did I tell y'all that I think about this? If everybody thinks like this, or if everybody makes this decision in the world, what will happen? That's how you know whether something is for the good of people and humanity or evil. Just ask yourself, if everybody has this thinking, if everybody takes this action, what will it do for the world? If everybody thinks the way that he thinks, what will it do for the world? And just think about it. Just think about it, because that energy is not always the same. Because if that energy was the same, if it was just about numbers, then Ben Shapiro, how many people were kidnapped from Israel? How many people? Okay, now how many Palestinians died, or what y'all like to call Hamas, or how many people? The numbers are not very similar, right? Y'all get where I don't have to keep going down this path, right? Because I really don't want to be totally honest. Whenever you have people that will justify, think about this. This man just said it is morally okay. Who's to say that more people would have died? Actually, maybe why don't we backtrack before we even get in that position? How about we're not going to get into wars, because then we know that high amounts of people are going to end up dying. So we're not getting into wars. It's ungodly. We figure it out a different way. We're humans. We figured out AI. We figured out all this other useless stuff, right? Not to say that AI is useless, but we figure out stuff all the time to improve the way we think, or maybe not necessarily, but we're supposed to be the most advanced creatures on society, right? We're chosen by God. You telling me we can't figure out a way to divvy up some land without destroying thousands of people? Evil has become the norm. Evil has become the norm. And I'm not saying that most people in the world are evil, but what I'm saying is we've accepted it as our norm. So even once we accept it as the norm, once we accept it and don't look at it like, oh my God, like somebody died. It happened to me with black people. I realized, like, when they kept showing all these, this black person killed by the police, I became numb to it. That was how I became numb to it. How wild is that to have that mindset? And a lot of y'all may be sitting there like, damn, you became numb to it. We're numb to what's going on right now. Thousands of people are dying over some land, divvying up some land, bro. Let's be real. We can rationalize or say it's because of the land, bro. You could say, wow, this person's religion or that person's religion, this is godly. Yo, I don't care whether what you think is holy, how you think your people are entitled to this. At the end of the day, if we're all connected as human beings, we have thousands of people that are dying over divvying up some land. It's insane. And we've accepted it. And if we are not, now that what happens when things become the norm? You ever had bad habits become your norm? It makes it very hard to break those habits. You can't just break them. You have to actually apply yourself and be super intentional with breaking those habits, right? It's the same thing with the mindset. So because we've accepted this mindset to where this is the norm, now it's not even a big deal. It's not even a big deal. I didn't lose any sleep last night over thinking about what's going on in Gaza. I'm being honest with y'all. I didn't. Shame on me for that. Shame on all of us. We are all connected. And the shame of it is we will not address an issue. We will not voice an opinion. We will not take a stance. We will not even mentally be objective in how we view things until that situation arrives at our front door. Until then, we're just fans rooting for something. It takes 90 days to break bad habits, but 30 days to make them. So when we constantly, now that this mindset is our norm, do we understand how hard it's going to be to break out of this beastly thinking and nature that we've adopted? Wow, we have some dangerous people roaming the streets. Yikes. Facts. Dangerous. That's the best way to put it. Dangerous people roaming the streets. All right, so let me make sure that I think that's all that I wanted to highlight on that one. Let's circle back to the reading. I want to go back to the reading, and I actually want to. The reading that we had today, I think I'm going to go back and read the one. I may read this one. It's the one from last week, but I really want to read it again. I really want to read it again before we get out of here. So let's do this reading, then we'll do our visualization, and then we'll wrap it up. All right. So, love heals. Love facilitates healing. It transforms life. We see this in the true story about a duck hunter who was suddenly changed by witnessing an act of love. One day he was out duck hunting, which he often did for recreation. As per his usual experience, he saw a duck flying, shot it, and watched it fall to the ground, badly injured. To his sudden amazement, he watched as the female mate of the injured duck immediately flew down on top of her companion and spread her wings over him to shelter him. Seeing her love, the heart of a hunter was changed. He never hunted again. Once you become loving, there are certain things you can never do again, and there are certain things you can do in the energy field of love that are impossible otherwise. Moreover, people do things for you that they would not do for others. Love makes possible the miraculous without labeling it miraculous. Love has a transfiguring effect. I know I read that on Friday, but I wanted to read it again. Love has a transfiguring effect. Positive and love, trust me. I'm anxious. I'm very anxious. I know there's an answer to these problems, but I also know that time is probably not on our side, just based on how far we've gotten. When it comes to, a lot of times, like I've been one that embraces hate before, like, okay, it's important to hate the negative stuff. If you love the positive stuff and you love peace, then you'll hate war. That was my mindset. Let me look at it a little bit differently now. This book was highlighting the fact that they did a strength test, where the strength test was somebody just lifting their arm. And maybe y'all can try it. I haven't tried it. The strength test was based on, they gave somebody a positive thought to think about, and they tested their strength. And like, I guess somebody was weighing their arm down and they were able to hold their arm. They tested their strength then. And then they told that person or talked to that person about something negative, or told them to think about something negative and to do the same exercise. Their strength decreased. In the book, it said about 50%. I don't know how exactly you determine that, but let's just say it decreased significantly. A lot of times we think that there's strength in anger. I've thought it before. but it's never going to be as strong as if we just focus on the love and focus on the passion that comes from the love. Now, that may mean that we identify some enemies because of the things that we do love, but just approaching it and being inspired by the love, I think that's going to put us in the best possible position for us to have the impact that we're looking to have, but for it to be as positive and non-detrimental to the community that we're looking to have it with. So there y'all have it. Let's do our 30 seconds of visualization. Because it's Monday, let's visualize what the rest of the week looks like. Let's visualize what a positive rest of the week looks like. Not just you, oh, I'm getting paid this week, or, oh, I just want to accomplish this goal. What is just moving around in a positive light? What do those interactions feel like? What do they look like? Interacting with your family, interacting on the job, interacting with strangers when you're walking down the street, when you get in the elevator, whatever it may be. How are we going to spread positivity this week? So 30 seconds. Let's go. All right. Y'all know what it is. We're here to elevate on purpose, both from an intentional standpoint, as well as providing our community, our village, our tribes, our family, everything they need to elevate in all areas of our lives as we strive for that godly standard. We may never get there. We accept that. But we also accept the fact that we can continuously strive to become that. And there's nothing wrong with if we never get there. But that's the goal. That's the aim. Strength and honor, onward and upward. Y'all know what it is. We get into that big bag. You put whatever's in your bag. Oh, yeah. You heard the birthday wishes. Once again, wish my dad a happy birthday. It is his birthday. The legend himself. My favorite guy on this planet. Maybe the most important human being to a son. Shout out to moms, but y'all know what it is when it comes to the fathers, man. For me, you know, you just yeah, cheat code. My dad's middle name is Curly. The C, we using cheat code. It's gonna be David Cheat Code Caldwell. That's the energy that we putting out. There's nothing like parents and that can come together and raise a family. And in those spirits, we also have to say happy anniversary to Ursi and Alana. When I see y'all, I'm always excited, and I'm able to appreciate it, I believe, because, you know, in a special way, just because of my upbringing and understanding now as I get older, you know, what it takes to keep a family together, what it takes to keep a marriage together. And that's important. So let's just have, I'm glad that we can end on a positive note. So look at it like this. No matter how much of the negative things that we may talk about or the dark things, the positive is, yeah, when we got so much negative going around, there's so much opportunity to make a positive impact. If things are off, you know, if everything's perfect, then it's hard to figure out, like, how can I make it better? We got an opportunity. Let's not get overwhelmed by it. Let's understand the power that we present just by how we move around this world. So we don't have to stage a rally today and to go on and make, you know, you don't got to go on your Instagram or your Facebook and start being an activist. The greatest activism, in my opinion, comes from us just being actively who we want to be. Like Queez always says, just being the change. So that's what we're going to land on today. I'm meeting my pops out for some golf this afternoon. We're going to celebrate. Hopefully I'll see Alana and Ursi on Wednesday. New plans. So life is amazing. And oh yeah, we're going to get to that bag. So whatever you decide to put in your bag, we put in my bag, I'm putting health, wealth, integrity, purpose, and happiness. All right. Love y'all. All right. I'll see y'all soon. Ew.